Random Stuff with Alex Hughes, and I believe today is day 19. Oh no, today is Wednesday, so it'd be day 19 of the Self Transformation Challenge. And As you can see, it's a bit earlier today, and I was able to get home about 7 o'clock or so that way I could get to sleep around 9 o'clock. But yeah, so today started off around the same time, 5:30. And I've been pretty used to this routine for the last almost 3 weeks now, where I wake up, I do a cold shower, and then of course, fit meditation in there, do my affirmations, and then I start off with a smoothie, at least for this week. And it was great. This smoothie was very energizing. I believe there was bananas, strawberries. I might have put cocoa powder. I have a little bit of trouble remembering, but I finished the rest of the bread pudding. And of course, I had my vitamin supplements. Made sure to prepare it. I had the pill container Monday through Sunday, um, and I had those kind of organized out. So I was able to easily get most of the vitamins. I can't fit everything in there because I'm taking quite a lot of supplements. Um, but yeah, so I ended up going on a walk today, and luckily there wasn't really too much heavy dew. It was pretty overcast in the morning, and it didn't actually burn off until actually pretty late in the day. Um, but yeah, I went down Hutchison, and then I went over to the Vista High School area, and I went down Gale, and there was like an alleyway I went down. There's quite a lot of trash there, but that's to be expected. And then I passed by the 7-Eleven on the corner of Bobier and North Santa Fe. And then I was able to, yeah, I walked down and um, I was able to listen to some videos about the Matrix. You know, the people who believe that, we live in a world where, certain people control, what's going on, and not everything is as it seems. I think they definitely take the movie pretty seriously, the red pill versus the blue pill. But it's very interesting to listen to. And so I ended up walking back. There really wasn't too many people walking. Like I said, it's crazy how quiet it is in the morning, like around 6:30 or so. I'd expect more people to be walking their dogs, but it's very quiet. And it's kind of nice, you don't have to worry about maneuvering around so many people. You just got to be careful of the cars. There's some sharp corners on Hutchison, so you got to be mindful of that. And some people do go pretty fast. But yeah, I came home and I was able to do my microcosmic orbit, qigong, and I did the 18-minute meditation. And I just kind of did some, I guess, maintenance stuff. Throwing out the trash, recycling, um, cleaning up my shoes. But I focused mainly on still deleting music. I was definitely going through my now. That's what I call music. Play songs, and I deleted at least maybe 30 or 35 or so of those songs, just cleaning it up. And then I was able to have another smoothie for the morning, 2 glasses full, and it was actually really, like I said, when I have the smoothies at lunch, I feel a very big head rush, like wow, so much energy. And I made basically a set of muffins that were English breakfast muffins, which have dates, oats, almonds, very healthy and very tasty. I had 2 of those in this. I mixed it up in the smoothie, and it was wow, very filling. Like right now, I feel, like I said, satiated. I don't feel very hungry. Yesterday, I felt a lot more of the intermittent fasting effects, but today I don't really feel it. Um, and then I ended up heading out. My mind was actually pretty clear today. When I was out, it was very clear. Like I could do the mindful awareness energy, and didn't. I didn't really feel too distracted because I was trying to do the curiosity, just trying to look at different things and try to concentrate on not just the nature, but just whatever's around me. And I noticed myself like I felt pretty strong, like doing that. Um, I just noticed. I think when I'm at home, there's a lot of uh, emotional, I guess, energy in the house. Because of all the stuff I've experienced. So it's a little bit different outside because it's a lot. There's a lot of good things going on, and I don't have as much time spent there as I do at home. Like home here, I spend my almost my entire life here. Whereas outside, I would go out every so often, not too often. So there's a lot more, I guess, emotional energy here. Um, so it's a little bit different experience. But yeah, so I felt pretty good. I listened to the different meditation music, just kind of tune out all the stuff around me, going on in the environment. And then I was doing research on, I believe, public transit and NoFap. Um, and I kind of took some notes. I realized, I've been doing a lot of research, but the important thing is to apply what you learn to real life, so that way you don't just blaze through all this stuff and forget about it, which I did. I used to do that a lot with like the self-help books when I was first started the journey. Is I would read it and there's so much information that it's like I can't make all these post-it notes. So a lot of the stuff I kind of let to the wayside, whereas now I got to be more kind of targeted with that, which I learned from just over the last couple of years of being setting my priorities straight. But yeah, so I ended up taking the bus and the Sprinter over to Planet Fitness, which was a little bit busy, but I was working on 8 pounds and I got up to 10 pounds, which actually wasn't too bad. Like, it feels like what 8 pounds felt with 5 pounds. So, I started with 5 pounds and I thought 8 pounds was heavy, and now I think 10 pounds is a bit heavy, and now I think 8 pounds is light. It's crazy. And so it just goes to show you, like, my muscles are getting stronger. I'm definitely noticing my veins popping out a lot more, maybe more circulation or something. But I was listening to Jay today on while I was doing that, and what was he talking about? I think he was talking about his, like, he was moving. Um, what was he talking about? Usually he does like esoteric and mystic type things, but it was definitely entertaining to listen to. Um, and then I ended up taking the bus over to Barnes and Nobles to check out some books, some personal development books. Luckily, they opened back up again, and I was able to check out their sales section, and they did have some good personal development type content. I actually bought 3 books, which, you know what, I think I'll show them. So I'll be back. Okay. Well, so yeah, I bought 3 books. Each of them were, like I said, sale books, but they're all pretty relevant to what I'm doing now this month. One is called Modern Mindfulness, by Rohan Gnatalake, or I think that's his name. And I guess it's about being more mindful in our world of basically online content and, always digital. Um, we're so stuck on the web and our phones, and so I guess it's like how to be mindful in those situations, especially on social media. Um, Another one is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's a very I don't want to say cliche. It's a very popular book. I was thinking about reading it for a while, I believe, but that was another one. And another one is Body Language by Dr. Glenn Wilson. I read a body language book before. It'd be kind of cool to apply more of that to real life, so that way you can understand like how people are thinking without saying things, because body language, I remember reading, I thought it was like most of what we perceive is body language, and then verbal cues is second. But yeah, so I bought those 3 books. I'll have to think about when I'm going to read them, possibly on the bus. I used to do that. I used to read a lot on the bus. I used to do puzzles on the bus. I used to do those adult coloring books. And then I transitioned to mostly meditation and then social media marketing. When you're on the bus, you have, depends on where you go. Sometimes you can be on the bus for a couple hours just trying to get to your destination. So by doing something, I think, productive, I think that it'll benefit me in the long run. But yeah, I think it's going to be great for my business that I'm thinking about starting, definitely next month, and also for just school in general. So that way I can, I think, be a better student. So I ended up coming back, and I believe it was about 4 o'clock and so I ended up focusing on just deleting more music off my MP3 player. I focused on mostly the SoundCloud stuff that I downloaded over the last few years or so. And yes, the SoundCloud stuff is pretty, they can be pretty explicit, you know. So I deleted a few songs. And then I was able to leave around 5 o'clock, of course, from the basketball. And I went to Bringle Terrace and I shot some hoops for about maybe 40, maybe about an hour actually. I made sure to do some meditation beforehand, and you know my subconscious mind was like, "Oh, you're not gonna get a court. You know, people are going to be there." And but the reality was, I got a court. You know, I was just pretty chill about it. I didn't want to obsess like, "Oh, am I gonna get a court?" Because then you know my meditation practice, boop, goes down because you know all you're thinking about is like, "Am I gonna get a court?" You know, so I've been trying to control my subconscious mind a lot more, use it as a tool, so that way it doesn't control me, which my entire life, like I said, my subconscious mind has literally been in control. And that's why I've done so many different things where I'm like, is this really necessary? Or, you know, worried about so many things that were complete garbage. Um, so it's really just about gaining control of the subconscious mind and making it do what I want it to do. So yeah, I've been trying to also. So I did that, and I did meet a high school student. You know, we were shooting hoops, and it was great to just talk it over, just about his experience because we both went to Vista High, and it was kind of nice to socialize like that. You know, meet somebody on the basketball court, and then I did my cold shower, which felt great. And then I'm just doing my tea, my chamomile tea right here with lemon. And then I'll probably put ashwagandha in there. Of course, ashwagandha. I got my magnesium. And then, I don't know, I might use melatonin tonight because I'll have to see how it goes. You know, you're supposed to take this 20 minutes before bedtime. So if I plan on sleeping about 9 o'clock, maybe that'll be 8:40. I'll make sure to, you know, kind of get things winded down before that time, so that way, you know, I'm not drowsy before that. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe it'll work. You know, I've never tried melatonin before. I know that it's in my brain already, so I fell asleep a lot better I think last night. But I was in the bed like I think 9:30, so that's the time I'm used to going to sleep. And so yeah, I think today was pretty productive. I'm glad I got the books. I'm making progress at the gym. You know, I'm going up to 10 pounds and working that out. I got to meet some cool kid on the basketball court. And like I said, every day, you know, is a new day to make something happen. You know, and if I keep going and building these habits, I think I'm gonna make a lot of progress. Of course, you know, it's like I said, it's a stepping stone. So I feel like I'm right at the top of that mountain. It's just that, you know, there's a couple more steps to go up that mountain in order to, you know, get to the top. Um, and then to control my subconscious mind, I always have to remember that, you know, I spent most of my life, you know, in fear of the subconscious mind because, you know, I was worried about thoughts and the emotions attached to it. But it's the only reason that those thoughts are so strong is because I've attached years of emotion to something that doesn't really matter. You know, so many things that I, you know, worry about, you know, social anxiety. I go out in public, what do people think of me? Or being anxious around women because, you know, what do they think of me? You know, or going to a nice area, you know, worrying about how I appear, or um, you know, worrying about you know, completely irrelevant stuff that doesn't matter to my life. But you know, I spent my childhood years, you know, being affected by the media stuff. So that's the reason why I have these thoughts. It's because, you know, all the violent garbage I watched as a kid, or the overtly uh, stimulated media that I listen to, you know, musically and on TV. And so, I mean, that's kind of like the guys on NoFap. That's the reason why they turn to this adult content, is because, you know, they've been exposed to as a kid to a lot of this, not necessarily adult content, but just, you know, TV, the radio, the online content, you know, that's already kind of like a lot of the music that I listen to. You know, I could think of so many songs where I thought, oh, it's just a song, but then, you know, you listen to the lyrics and you're like, okay, especially stuff by Pitbull, hotel room service. I mean, I was like, oh, I love the sound of this, the synths, but you listen to the lyrics and you're like, okay. Or you listen to Two On by Tanashi and Schoolboy Q, I believe that's his name. And it's like his rap lyrics, if you listen to the explicit version, you're like, okay. And I was like, oh man, Two On is such a catchy song, or supposed to be, with Chris Brown, Janae Aiko, and Omarion. It's like, that song is about cheating on your significant other. I was like, so supposed to be, or you think about Loyal by Chris Brown, Tyga, and Lil Wayne. It's like, okay. Or anything with Rick Ross in it, basically. Aston Martin music, um, you Maybach music, anything he's featured in, his music is pretty explicit. But it was on the radio. Like when I was in middle school, I was like, oh man, Drake headlines, DJ Khaled, I'm on one, and I was like, oh, that's a good song, or Bad Meets Evil. I can't remember the other guy's name, but with Eminem, and I just looked at the lyrics for Lighters, and man, Eminem's lyrics are very aggressive and kind of violent. I'm like, I listen to that stuff as like a seventh grader. When you hit puberty, I started listening more. Basically, was on the radio. Nicki Minaj was on the radio. Drake, just came out with what was that album that was huge? Take Care. That was a huge album. Or was it Take Care? Yeah. Nicki Minaj was really doing well with her music. Big Sean, Dance. If you listen to Dance and then the parentheses, like, what is Dance about? It's not about dancing. It's about, it's what does Nicki Minaj on the uncensored version talk about? On Dance, or even a song I really liked by Big Sean featuring Chris Brown. My Last, such a motivational song, but then you hear what he's rapping about. It's like, okay, he's talking about girls. Yeah, and so it's like I listened to this music as a teenager and as a preteen, and it's no wonder why I was affected subconsciously by this music to go a certain way, you know, and to kind of be primed. It's like they're priming you. It's crazy. Like you listen to the Matrix type videos and you realize, wow, this media is priming you to feel a certain way. Like I said, Big Sean, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, Eminem, another rapper that was out, Tyga was out, with Rack City Chick. Rack City Chick, oh my god. But there are some other rappers like, Lupe Fiasco, who's like, wow, at least he's rapping about something that's a little bit more conscious. Even, what was Tinch? No, he's a British rapper. What was that rapper? Written in the Stars. What was his name? Featuring Eric Turner. Man, what's his name? I should know his name. I can't remember his name, but he's a British rapper, and his rap music is a lot more like about success and trying to achieve your kind of your best self. And Lupe Fiasco is another one who's more conscious. What's another rapper? But yeah, so there's rappers out there that focus a lot more on just trying to be successful and kind of higher vibrational stuff, whereas there's other rappers that talk about money, women, drugs, or weapons, violence, gang violence. So I'm just trying to clean up my tastes. Because I started to get into like some rap music 2 years ago that was like very like Duro, Soldier Boy, GS Boys, even Chief Keef, oh my God, Future too. His music is very aggressive and very explicit. 2 Chainz. So I that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks or so, just cleaning up my music because music has such has had such a big impact on me my entire life. I kid you not. My entire life I've always been listening to music, whether it be on my computer, my MP3 player, and then more recently SoundCloud, YouTube, and just in general. So, like I said, today was a great day. I'm going to keep out what I'm doing, and just you have to keep working on mindful awareness to build that subconscious mind, build the powers of retention, and just keep at it, because you get stronger every day that you practice. But you got to keep determination, discipline, because, like, for example, I could go to the gym. I go to the gym like 2 weeks in a row, and then I never go again, and then those muscles are going to get weaker and weaker. It's because it's like you got to keep at it. You get stronger, 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds. Next I'll be at 20 pounds. And it's kind of like mindful awareness. Like, at first you can't control your thoughts. You're stressed out, and you have all these thoughts about what you got to do. You're anxious. You're thinking, how am I going to make money for college? How am I going to grow this business? Am I going to get a job? Am I going to be able to handle the job? And you get all these anxious thoughts, but you practice mindfulness, meditation, you practice healthy eating, and you cultivate mindfulness every day. When you have free time, you're waiting for the bus, you do mindfulness. You go on a walk, you practice mindfulness. You notice the thought, and then you focus your attention, and then eventually you have control of your subconscious mind. And whatever thoughts that come into your mind, you can control what you're thinking at any given moment, what emotion you want to feel. It's no longer that, emotion comes up. You can control that emotion. You can tell yourself, like, I don't want to think that. And then eventually thought disappears. But if you do that every single day, you gain control of your subconscious mind to a point where, like I said, anything that comes up in your mind that tries to stress you out, that tries to pull BS on you, that is complete garbage, all you have to do is switch it off. Literally, I think that might be the cure to anxiety. Might be, who knows? Like, with anxiety, your thoughts are always running in your head about situations that don't really exist. But all you have to do, is practice mindfulness, be aware of the emotions, but also do these other things, sleep, exercise, diet, building better habits, and then everything together builds that weapon, that armor against anything that your subconscious mind throws at you. Then you gain control, and you're the owner of that mind. And it's crazy. And I've noticed myself within the last couple of days just get stronger and stronger with my subconscious mind, to the point where I could be like, I don't want to think that right now. Like, I'm not going to think that. And my subconscious mind literally shuts up. It doesn't say anything. It's like, wow, that's crazy, but I got to keep at it, or it's gonna gain control again. You get to a point, like with NoFap, where you don't think about NoFap anymore. You don't think about that being an issue, but those first couple of months, you got to work on it. You got to build yourself, but eventually NoFap becomes a part of your life, to the point where you don't think about NoFap. You don't think you need it anymore, and then you never really think about it. Doesn't cross your subconscious mind. Maybe you think about the other stuff, but you don't think really about the P or the M, and then it just becomes a part of your existence. Like, for me, I don't stress out about, oh man, am I going to have an urge today? Am I going to relapse? I don't think about it anymore, because it's been 4 years since I relapsed. 4 years. And after 4 years, it doesn't bother you. I kid you not. Like, before, I didn't think I would be able to make it. I didn't think I would be able to do this. But 4 years later, so I can accomplish anything I set my mind to, and I can control my subconscious mind. Even with the strongest, the violent BS subconscious thoughts that have really been trained by the media, and the horror films that I watched as a kid, and the obsession that I had about, the stuff that I was watching influence my subconscious mind. So the crime shows, CSI, horror films, Michael Myers, Jason, all this slasher garbage that went in my brain as a kid, that affected me as an adult. Those subconscious thoughts, they appear, but they're not real. They don't have anything to do with reality. They're just an example of the programming that I received as a kid. So if I can clean out the programming, just delete any sort of remnant of that, just clean my mind up, I think I can rise above to the point where I never think about those ever again. Like NoFap, I cut out I cut out that behavior. I don't, watch, purposely watch a film because of the content, that intimate content, and I feel a whole lot better. And I've gone even farther this journey, getting rid of the music and getting rid of the just the movies in general, um, and it's been great. So I know I can get there. I just have to keep working on it. So I look forward to seeing you guys on day 20 of the self transformation journey, and have a good night, guys.